Peace, peace. Sarteka M. Abnefer again here with What You Growin. Today I'm here with one of my mentors, the brother Kudumu Moyenda, and it is a pleasure for me to introduce y'all to him. He is an amazing gentleman. He was an educator, and he grows here at Mount Hope Garden, and he also helps to take care of all of the community spaces here at Mount Hope on pretty much a daily basis. So here you have Kudumu Moyenda.
Peace. How's everybody doing? Before I start, I'm going to do well, it's kind of like a libation, but just to start us out and to get us. Um, I've been with this garden for about 5 or 6 years. I first came here through the Black Storyteller in San Diego. We had a grant, and part of the grant was about growing food and sharing that with community. And I came here, we had a bed, matter of fact, we had this bed that's right behind us, which is no longer ours, and I will get into that a little later on. And being here has helped me to grow. Gardens are more than growing food. I mean, that's the primary purpose of garden, to grow those things that we need to sustain ourselves. But also gardens are here to grow communities, to grow individuals. Nature has a way of teaching us how we should interact. And nature teaches us what we need to be next to and what we need to leave alone. It teaches us also how not to just to destroy things because we don't like it. For example, a lot of people don't like insects, all different kinds of insects, but you got to understand what the insect is there for and what its purpose is. And then once you better understand that, then you can determine whether you need that insect or not. Or there's some other insects that can handle that insect, all right? So, you just kind of come into that understanding. So like I said, I've been here about 5 or 6 years, learned a whole lot, and in that process, became a master gardener through the UC program. And a master gardener is it's good information. It helped to round me out in terms of understanding of growing, of soil, of pruning, and all the aspects that go into growing food. And so, in this garden here, I'm here 2 days a week. And some days longer, some days shorter, but 2 solid days a week I'm here. And some days I come in on other days depending on what's happening. And there's some things that I've done in the garden that I like personally. For example, this tree behind us here is a guava. It's a white guava. We have 2 trees in there. We have a pink and a white. This is the white. It was sitting somewhere in the garden. And I saw it was about maybe this high. Nobody wanted it. So first I planted it in the bed. It wasn't doing too well. Took it off and put it over here by the fence. And this is a learning experience. So shouldn't have been this close to the fence. But it's okay. It liked it. We've been through some things. It was infested one time with aphids. And that just showed me that I wasn't taking care of it right. And so once I started, doing some cultural practices, some natural practices, it recovered. It gave us some nice guava last year. It gave us some nice guava, so I felt pretty good about that. And though I was not the only one taking care of this tree, but I made sure that it was taken care of. So let's take a little walk down this way.
All right. Don't fall now, brother.
Okay. I want to take you over here. This is our current project. And just right now, the garden things look a little wild in here because we've had about almost 2-3 months of rain.
Yeah, lots of rain.
And the weeds are, in my opinion, weeds are the plants that you don't want. That's a weed. Because, some weeds, they flower, they have beautiful flowers. So it just depends on what you want. But getting back, So we decided that next year we're going to be doing a transition. We're moving out of a community garden to a community farm, right? And so this is our first start right here, after the rain. So we cleared it out, put some compost in there. We have 15 tomato plants. We have 15 tomato plants, and by next week we're going to put them in their own trellises or support. So we're going to put these around our tomato plants so they grow up, they have the support on them, and it's important that you do it early. It's just like your child. You need to support your child early so they develop in the right way on the spiritually. The
so don't go all crazy.
Right? They go all crazy, leaning over and everything like that.
Safety first.
Yeah, so I'm all about safety too. So with tools, when we finish, clean them while they're lying there. Make sure that we put them in the right place so you don't step on them and hurt yourself. There was a young lady here. I guess she left. Lorenzo. Yeah, I guess she left, or maybe we took a break. So we need to do that. Now so we're going to be moving this way. We're going to be getting our tree collard greens. We're going to be cutting them down. We're going to plant some in here, cut this back, and just keep moving. Maybe chop down some of this sugar cane right here, and just start to take care of the garden, get rid of the things that we don't need or don't want, or things that are attracting different kinds of pests, like our snails and stuff like that. Want to prune up things and get underneath and look at them, and just bring the garden back to a level in which we don't have to do a lot of work. And what happens in the garden, I just need to say this, I can't overemphasize this, is that it's like how you take care of your children. You don't let your children run around dirty. Well, you should, I should say, dirty, and you don't clean them. You don't take care of them. You don't feed them right. Same thing here in the garden. We gotta compost, fertilizer at the right times. We gotta pull out the weeds. We gotta prune when it's needed, and just kind of be among the plants.
Sometimes a little dirt is good for you, though, right?
Well, I don't know about dirt, but soil.
Okay, soil.
Yeah, it's okay, and it's all good. But see, sometimes it's all about what you want, which brings about the design. So if we let this go the way it is now, nature take over, those plants that are really rooted here will thrive. Those who are maybe undernourished and don't have the proper support will go ahead and perish. All right? So
survival of the fittest.
We see at a time right now, and I'm not putting any ill will on people like that, but among us, those people who've been having a hard time in terms of health and everything, things come along and take them out. So it tells us you take care of your garden will take care of you. It's reciprocal.
You take care of your body will take care of you.
There you go. See, all of that is connected. I truly believe that in developing any kind of community, there should be two things that are essential, or three things that eminent domain, in other words, the government coming in and taking over something, they're exempt. A garden should be in every community, a local garden, a local park, and an educational facility. Those are the things that need to be in every community, because now what happens, when you keep it really local, you stop the traveling. Your neighborhood, which is just a neighborhood is a place, it becomes a community. what makes it a community are people connecting, sharing, and caring. Okay, and those are the things that need to be taught. I'm out of New York, live Lower East Side, Manhattan, 10th Street, Avenue D,
Okay.
in the projects, you know what I'm saying?
Represent your
Right?
city.
But what I saw there is that when we worked together, there was things that were accomplished. And when we were at each other, that's when things fell apart. Okay? And so that's like in your garden, in your neighborhoods. If you want to make them communities, you gotta, you have to work together. And so if you have this common goal, a shared goal, we're kind of like in a
flight path.
In a flight path. So making those things happen. Now I want to come back to the garden. What's important is that you grow things that you want to eat. That's the first thing. Just don't be growing a whole lot of stuff. Grow things that you want to eat, and make sure that you don't make a whole lot of it, because a 3x3 area, 3x3 bed or whatever, can produce a lot of food. It can produce a lot of food. So if you have a family of 4 and you have a 12x3 space, that's a lot of food that you can grow. Now California is a little different, at least Southern California is a little different, because the weather, we can grow just about throughout the whole year. We can grow. And so when that happens, it can kind of throw you off, because the body, when you live on the East Coast, you're eating different through the seasons. Out here, you only have 2. You have hot and cold. And the cold is a joke on the East Coast out here.
I was going to say medium.
Right. 50 degrees, people think it's a
freezing
cold front. And if it's 80 degrees, they think it's a heat wave out here. Okay, but you grow the things that you like, and make sure that you don't grow beyond your need. But if you do, here we go. You have neighbors.
Right.
It's nothing better to break the ice, in my opinion, is food. Every time we gather, when you have somebody new come to the community, usually
I come brought you some food, some cookies, some soup,
some fruit,
some fresh bread.
I made this salad, it's food.
Right.
We have a gathering. It's food. Okay, food is that icebreaker. So if you're sharing with your neighbors and you motivate them to grow food too, then all of a sudden somebody's growing cucumbers over here, somebody's got the orange and the avocado tree over here, and so all of a sudden, all year round, everybody is getting food. You're not traveling, those places we call supermarkets and stuff. I'm not saying we get rid of them, at least not initially, but for right now, we can minimize their use, and we can get away from that package.
And the dependency on that stuff.
Right, dependency on that stuff. So we need to learn how to preserve cans. All of these different things that our grandparents or great-grandparents did to kind of get through, we say, the winter time or the hard time, right, to get through that. So gardens are great. So this here is a great garden. It's a community garden. It's pretty big in terms of some of the gardens that I've seen around San Diego. This morning we had a couple of projects. We had over here the banana tree. So this here is a moringa. I don't know if it's actually a tree or a plant. I need to look that up. But it's grown, a sister that had a bed here, put it here when it was about this high, and we just chopped it down. It was maybe about 12 feet. It was pretty high. We chopped it down this morning, and probably in a week or so, all of this is going to fill out. And so what it does is that now the tree is in reach. So and that's another thing about when you're gardening, you want to make sure everything is in your reach. You don't want to do too much up on the ladder. You know, especially when you get older, like certain people. I'm not saying me, but people I know, it gets kind of hard to start to reach up and to climb up on ladders. It's a safety issue, right? So you want to keep it down close. This way, it's easier to manage. If you have any pests, it's easier to see. It's easier to deal with it, and like I say, you don't have to climb up on it, and mostly because it's in reach. If you have fruit trees or whatever, you keep them in reach. That's great. Now, if you're going for shade, that's all another thing. Yeah. So,
Look at that rosemary. Booming.
so this is what we cut down off of the moringa tree this morning. All of this here, and we're gonna cut this up. We're gonna take out the pods here. And inside they have some beans. I'm not going to open this up because this one is not open.
So with those, you can replant the seeds, right?
You can replant the seeds. You can dry this out. This plant here, the moringa, it's medicinal. So
I think this one's cracked open right here.
Yeah, it's dry, right? So, and we can see the seeds inside. They kind of dried out. So this one right in here is pretty good. You can eat the leaves, put it in your smoothie. The bark you can use, you can probably make it into how to make a salve or something like that. So the tree is you can just about use the entire tree or plant, which is a good thing. So we have 3 of these moringas in the garden, which is a great thing. The young lady come to help us over there.
And we have this sage. This sage has just been going crazy since the rain. I used to come here and harvest some of the sage. It was only one little area. Now it's huge.
This is. We're gonna get to this next week. This is our loquat. This is another tree that was in the garden. It was about this high. I was asking everyone, whose is it? Who wants it? Nobody said anything. I took it, dug a hole, put it in here. I guess it was maybe about 5 years ago or something like that.
Wow.
And now it's up, it's fruiting.
Plenty of fruit.
When we get over here, I'm gonna wash this off, and maybe I might let the camera person have some.
Those loquats, they got 2 and 3 seeds in each little fruit. So when we talk about, growing something that you can continually grow, that's one of those things. You grow things, and when they seed, you don't just toss the seeds in the trash. Keep your seeds. Replant those seeds, or maybe not replant them right away if your tree is booming like that. Obviously, that tree doesn't need any more seeds at its roots, but you can transplant. You can make those seeds grow anywhere else. You can take them to someone else's garden and grow themselves a loquat tree. You can pretty much do anything with that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was good.
Mm.
There goes one of those seeds. Those are huge seeds.
There's 2 of them in there.
Yeah, I found a couple that had 3 seeds in them.
And this is delicious.
This is one of the best parts about being at the garden,
Mm-hmm.
is eating the stuff that you grow. And when you eat something that you grew, then you're like, wow, like it just tastes better. I don't know, it tastes better. You're like, I grew this.
And you know what? And the gardens are important in terms of being instructive. So we have children who come here and who have never seen food grow. Everything is out of the store. It's in a can, in a package.
Right.
And then they come here and they see it. And so, like, you might have a student who says, I don't like tomatoes. Right? And you say, okay, taste this. And then they'll say, this doesn't taste like the tomatoes I get out of the store. Okay, okay. All right. So what does that tell you? Okay, so that's letting you know. That's letting you know that maybe you need to do a little different shopping.
Right.
Now this bed, I'm a co-owner with this bed, and it does need some work on it. I've been doing so much work in the garden, I haven't gotten around to it. So there's some stuff that's bolted.
This is gonna be either a broccoli or a cauliflower.
That's a collard.
Really? It's starting to group up in the middle here like a broccoli or a cauliflower. Yep. They do this thing where eventually after they come up like this, in the between they start to, I don't know, kind of like grow onto themselves. But it could be. I had my collard. A lot of people were.
Came from,
I was wondering what happened to that plot over there. Okay.
Right here.
Okay. So yeah, maybe they are some collards.
Yeah. So this is bolted. This was charred.
So this is what happens. Sometimes you win some, you lose some.
There you go. You win some, you lose some.
You just got to know when to take them out.
Right. And then sometimes, you get, like in my case, because I do a lot of work in the garden, it takes me a while to get over to individual spaces. But, my goal is that since we're making a transition from a community garden to a community farm, I'm getting more into the farm aspect of it.
Aww. This is what you see in the garden. You see families in the garden.
There you go. And it's a good place to have children in here.
Not to have children, but to bring your children.
Let me restate that. It's good to bring children into the garden.
I mean, I'm down. I'm willing. I'll be the first one.
If you want to, I'm sure we can make arrangements for that. But this is a good place to bring children. We have some ongoing projects. Right now, we have some trees that need to be pruned, which we have the assistant who's in here, who's taking on that role of pruning trees. And this is another thing too. On volunteering, some people volunteer for resumes. Some people volunteer because they think it's a good thing. And then some people volunteer for all of that and more. All right, so you have people who travel from different places and they come here and they say, how can I help you? Because in doing that, we're really saying, this is how I can help myself. Because the fruits of all of this labor that's happening here, all of us who are in here, we get to share in that. So we got the business model, so we want to handle that part. But then also, you have people in here volunteering. So when the harvests come, certain harvests, you say, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag, divide it up.
Right.
And so like for myself, a person living alone, sometimes I got more food than I need, but I have neighbors.
Right.
And my neighbor, loves it. When I say I left some food on your doorstep, they say, great, thank you. And not too many people I know turn down food.
No.
Not that
especially not home, like garden grown food. Maybe some canned food, maybe some food for less food. Maybe somebody
or less food.
Maybe somebody will turn down that. And it might not even be out of a negative space. It might just be that's not something that they can use, and they don't want it to, go to waste. But it's very rare that somebody turns down grown food from your garden that you grew.
The only question is, they'll ask you, is it organic? In here, we don't use pesticides and herbicides. We don't use all of that. Okay, so we use the natural compost, which the brother over there, Brother Morrow, is making the compost. He's taking a break right now. Somewhere. And, that and thinking about how using what's in the garden to turn it into a fertilizer. So our goal as we move to the end of this year, our goal is how can we take this garden and everything in the garden, recycle it. You know, people always say repurpose, you know, they get into the repurpose. My thing is, repurpose is this. The stuff that you can really use that's environmental friendly, yeah, reuse it again. All that other stuff, you really need to get rid of it. you need to find a way to get rid of it and not reintroduce it back into the environment. Okay, and that's my spin on that. You know, so the garden it not only serves to grow a community. You know, like I had said before, you know, it helps for the children and everything like that. But also, there's this term that they use. I call it food accessibility. Some of you might have heard food desert. I don't really like that term, but it's accurate in the sense that there was really nothing here for the people from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or less than, because the desert it has less than 10% rainfall a year. That's one of the things that make it a desert. So in terms of food, you're saying that it has less than whatever the number you want to subscribe to it in terms of quality of food and accessibility to the food. So you have people who live in the community, they come in there young, but then they age. And maybe they stop driving or they can't drive. And walking 2 blocks to a store sometimes can be a little challenging. But out here, you get into the blocks with 4 to 5 blocks where you have to take a bus.
Right.
And so
or 20-minute drive.
Right, the drive. So if you got somebody to drive you to go to the store, to do that. And so if we keep everything local, it helps. It helps with our elderly. So now they have a place to go, because everybody has value. But I'm sure that, you know, for the elderly to sit out in the garden, to play in the garden, shucks. That helps them and it helps us. All right, so we have to look at, and we're talking about recycling, how do you recycle people, so to speak? So those people who are getting on in years, how do we use them in the community? Well, we have to maybe redesign the community that where the community is usable by everybody. Everybody benefits from the community. So this garden, families benefit, our elderly benefit, our students of agriculture benefit, and those who want to learn about agriculture benefit. So it becomes a school. It becomes a whole lot of things other than just a garden where food grows. So, you know, for those who always talk about needing to do something, give some of your time for a worthwhile project that produces. Because sometimes we get involved in stuff that reproduces stuff that we don't really need. So we need to get into things that help to not just survive. Because survival is okay, but we need to get to a point of sustainability.
Right.
And that's I think that's where we headed. And at this point in time, what's happening in 2020, around the spring, what they call corona.
COVID-19.
Yeah. What's that called?
COVID-19.
COVID-19. There's a lot of things that happen that, you know, wouldn't want to wish on people, but the good thing about it is that it slowed everybody down. Even geologists are saying they can hear seismic activity in the earth, which is great.
Right.
They said they couldn't hear that. So now, you know, the air quality is clearing up. That means that the water is cleaning up, okay? And so all of these things are happening. And most important thing is that people are slowing down. Some people, there's got a couple of people around here, they're a hot mess. But,
still moving. Still joking.
You know.
For those who don't know, the brother Kudumu, he is very, very hilarious. He would have been a comedian in another life if he wasn't a master gardener and educator. So he do joke.
Right. So I'm going to kind of end this. Okay.
Okay.
It's been great sharing this information with you. I want to thank you for inviting me to your show.
I want to thank you, brother, for being my first guest on What You Growin, and for walking us around and just showing us what you're growing and giving us a little bit of knowledge about why you grow and how important food sovereignty is, and pretty much about community and everything. And y'all are lucky because, like I said, this is one of my mentors, and he's very hard to get a hold of. He's not on any social media platforms, so you can't go follow him. If you do want to have a meaningful conversation about life with this brother, you'll have to come and volunteer some of your time here at Mount Hope, because you can't find him on social media and he barely returns your texts. So anyways, small jab, but this has been Sarteka here with What You Growin, and have a wonderful day.
Right.